A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on May 15th, 2015, and it's on a Friday. My name is Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Kip Stube.
And tonight on Live Talk, we are going to talk about electoral violence.
To join the discussion, phone us directly at this number 001-202-619-2077 and we'll call you back.
And as usual, Live Talk goes out to Zimbabwe on our 919 medium wave frequency and on the 4930-5940 and 15460 kilohertz shortwave Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m.
On the internet, you can find us at www.voazimbabwe.com, www.voashona.com, and www.voindebele.com.
It's Timboko for ZANU-PF. When it's the same way today, as usual, they usually force and victimize people to attend the ZANU-PF rally. They force the closure of some business centers at Senga County.
Sesithola abakhokheli bethu bethathe advantage of ama-youth ngokubasebenzisa sometimes babasetshenziswayo ukuphusha i-violence, babasetshenziswayo ukuchaya abadala nxa sokufanele abadala bafoswe maybe ukuthi bavote ngendlela ethize.
Haiwa vari kunyepa vari kutya vanozoti vakadyiwa kare. ZANU-PF haishandisi chisimba, yakashandisa chisimba kubvisa hurumende yaSmith. ZANU-PF inoziva kushanda navanhu.
Once again, thanks for joining us. You are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk. And tonight on Live Talk, we are going to talk about electoral violence.
The Zimbabwe Peace Project and the Zimbabwe Election Support Network have raised serious concern with escalating tensions in Urungo West and other areas where by-elections are being held. Today, there were reports that the state security agents roughed up people in Urungo West.
The reported violence has prompted the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission to deploy a team to Urungwe West to probe the violence that is alleged to be happening there.
What do you think about this issue? If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number 001-202-619-2077 and we'll call you back. That number again 001-202-619-2077. kungakunjalo mfowethu.
Onguka Gibbs nasi kuti tinge tichitarisa nezvenyaya yemhirizhonga iri kuitika zvikuru kuHurungwe West kune kuri kukwikwidzana vatemba muliswa vari kukwikwidzana vakazvimirira navaKeith Guza veZANU-PF kuri kunziko madzishe masabhuku nevamwe vari kushandiswa ivo kuti vange vachityisidzira vanhu uye mune dzimwewo nzvimbo dzakaita sana kunana Cholocho vamwe vari kutiwo vari kutyisidzirwa muHarare ngoma ndiyo vamwe vanopikisa vari kuti maposta avo ari kupota achibvarurwa. Turakunzwa kuti munoti kuti vateereri muchitudza zviri munharaunda yenyu Gibbs.
Yes, ulwanda ndingahambi kumpela viki isitembo kuti namhlanje ndiyaphila sibile kwamakama. Udaba lethu ekutwini namhlanje sixoxa ke ngalokho kwenzakala kuma by elections. Siyakwazi ukuthi kulokhetho olubuyayo njalo olunye lwenziwe namhlanje. Kwakhanya ngazani khona ngale wetsa bayenze kuhle abantu zange belwe kodwa kuzwala ukuthi eUrungo West kungani kuyahanjwa. Abantu badala batsho njalo phela kuyafiwa sibila abantu bagijima kuze kudabuka ibhlugwe. So ke kukhanya kuyahlupha kulokuhluphana kuthize phakathi kwebandla leZANU-PF lalabo abasekela umnumzana Themba Mliswa yena oxoxwa ke kuZANU-PF. Besikhuluma labanye ke eHarare bathi kuna ngale okuhluphayo ukuthi abakufaka lokuthiwa ngama-posters ayadatshulwa laba abacatshangela ukuthi ngabe ZANU-PF. So sifuna ukuzwa ngani ukuthi kambe lithini ngalokhu njengoba kubuya ngesikhathi iZimbabwe Electoral Commission isithi kumele kukhangele ukuthi kambe kwenzakalani endaweni esitshiyeneyo. Kunjalo kumfundi.
Gibbs, I think we have our first two guests. First we have Mr. Strike Mkandla, the ZAPU spokesperson. Mr. Mkandla, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we also have human rights lawyer Dewa Mavinga, who is currently in London. Mr. Mavinga, good evening.
Evening, Blessing and Gibbs. How are you guys?
We are doing
we are
great,
fine.
and thanks for joining us. Gibbs, you can start the ball rolling.
Let's start with you, Mr. Mkandla. Tell us about the situation right now where you are in terms of the by-elections.
Well, I heard you talking about violence in some districts. So far, we are not experiencing any violence. I hope it stays this way. And there is no rampant bribing of voters, at least not as far as meets the eye. So we hope that it stays that way. Although there are rumors that the usual another cheap items from China are flooding the place. But so far it's not yet.
Mr. Mkandla, can you move a little bit? I think your phone is cutting off. Can you get to a position where we can hear you clearly?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you stay there until we finish the program? Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I was saying that there's no evidence of intimidation yet, because we've been able to walk around without much, worry. And also, the tearing down of posters, which we experienced in 2013 in some areas, is not yet happening. We hope it stays that way too. But one or two areas, some posters have been pasted over by others. So we are going to check out those areas and report properly to the police, because we have not yet really made any formal complaint. But it's not yet right. And there are not many posters, I guess, because it's not like during the general election with involving major parties, flooding the streets. So far, there are about 3-4 types of posters showing, but not too many. And there's enough space, I guess, on the walls before we can start fighting for space and defacing of posters. So there's no problem of that sort yet.
Let's bring in Mr. Mavinga. Mr. Mavinga, Mr. Mkandla is saying, at least for now, in Bulawayo, things are stable. But it's a different ball game when it comes to Urungo West. Why do you think there's so much violence in this constituency?
Well, the unfortunate thing here, Blessing, is that the political violence, the electoral violence, is not new, but it's a wave that is coming back again, particularly in Urungo West, because obviously the expelled provincial chairperson Themba Mliswa, who was with ZANU-PF before, has proved to be so popular with the electorate that perhaps ZANU-PF fears that they will be defeated at the polls, and therefore to try and do away with the genuine will of the people of Urungo West, the element of violence is introduced to strike fear and to try and wrestle supporters from Themba Mliswa, who is standing now as an independent against ZANU-PF's own candidate, Kit Gusha. So I think this is the problem of involving security elements, involving government officials, and having senior government officials like Ignatius Chombo and others going on the ground to try and whip up emotions and intimidate voters, because they see Urungo West as a microcosm of the national macrocosm, to say the least. What happens in Urungo West will be reflective of the national picture going towards 2018. You may also be aware that Themba Mliswa and others are talking about the People First project. So it becomes a litmus test, a test project to say if we are able to crush Themba Mliswa, then it means the violence formula might be deployed in a similar fashion in 2018 to crush the People First project.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mavinga. Gibbs.
Yes, buyele kuwe baba Mkandla. Nxa usukhangeleke khona ngapho koBulawayo, ubona ngazani ke loba kungela msindo kangako, kodwa lina liya ngaphi ke lebandla lenu? Kuyahambeka, kuyakhampeneka, kuyakhankaseka sibile kuzwayo?
Kuyakhankaseka, kodwa ke of course amanye ama-parties njengoba usazi athi wona kawasoze angene ukhetho. And singakangeni sibili okukhanyayo babethe bona baxwayisa amalunga abo ukuthi xa efika kuma polling stations spoil ama-ballot papers ukuthi angavalwa manje lokho yikho kunye sikukhangeleyo ukuthi kuyabe kulabantu abaningi kungaba labantu abaningi nxa kungalandelwa lokho abaspoila ama-ballot papers kuqine kusenza ukuthi ibandla ebelibusa leli izanu kwezinye izindawo libuye ngena kobulawayo but phansi nxa uxoxa labantu baningi abakunanzelelayo khonokho sithemba ukuthi bazabe lokho besanda abantu abanjalo ababonayo ukuthi lokho kuyabe kufanana lokuqhubela izanu PF izihlalo lezi ezingu-5 ezikobulawayo ezasuke zakwathiwa njengoba zingasela muntu kumele kube lokhetho in other words kuwe lama-by-election ngoba declared vacant so-ke kunjalo ukuthi abantu bakobulawayo sibatshela ukuthi lingavumeli ukuthi izani kuyibuyele ngoba kudala edliwa izapho kwazi kwabuye i-MDC layo yabadla futhi belokhu bevalelwe but khathesi bazama ukungena futhi-ke ngenxa yokuthi amabandla amanye angaphambanisa atshela abantu ukuthi bangavoti sekuseshikanisa labantu abaningi kade bezavotela izapho.
So according to Mr. Mkandla, he's worried that the MDCT called for people to actually go to the polls but spoil the ballots. So he says if that is done, then maybe ZANU-PF may win. Yeah.
Interesting. Mama Vinga, muloti kudidezi kutaurwa navamukanya.
Ndinovumirana navo zvacho sekuti chiripo ndechekuti munoona dambudziko remuzimbabwe nderekuti kunyanya kuZANU-PF havana chimwe chavakadzidza kunze kweviolence kwekurova vanhu nekutyisidzira vanhu havana kudzidza kuti chairwirwa vana mukoma pavakaenda kuhondo yaiva nyaya yekuti vanhu vasununguke kuti vaite zvavanoda vasarudze utungamiri hwavanoda izvo havana kuzvinzwisisa vanhu veZANU-PF ikozvo vanongofunga kuti tiri muhondo kana munhu musina kuwirirana mukangopokana chete itsvimbe mugotsi havana zvimwe zvavanofunga kunze kwekuti tinokurovai kana musina kuteerera zvatinoda ndobva tiri kuona kuti dei mweya umwe wabviswa mukati mevana vezimbabwe kuti vakwanise kusununguka pasarudzo vataure zviri pamwoyo pavo zvinosimbiswa nemutemo nebumbiro remutemo renyika rinoti aiwa munhu wese ane kodzero yekusarudza ngana nangana kuti vamutungamire kwete kuti munhu aite izvi avhundutsirwa kana zvaita vanhu vachombogunga kuti hanzi munhu nemunhu ngaamira sabhuku vake hazvisi izvo kutyora mutemo kumanikidza vanhu kukanganisa hatingaendi mberi senyika kana izvi zvichiitwa saka iko zvino chinoda kuti chiitwe iko ndeyekuti pave nekurudziro yekuti vanhu vazive kuti vane kodzero dzavo dziri pachena dzavari kudirwa neZANU-PF vachishandisirwa chisimba vachivhundutsirwa vachirohwa vachinziyo asi pakupera kwezuva kana pakawana mukana wekuti vanhu vasununguke muchaona kuti ZANU-PF izuru rakapinda nyoka.
Tinotenda zvikuru. Gibbs.
Ye lapha silo umuntu osecingweni osecholotsho khona ngale sizwe ukuthi ngubani khona ngapha echolotsho silo bani?
Hayi ngikeli gama lami.
Ye kunjani nkosazana?
Hayi ngiyaphila njani?
Ngiphilile nkosazana kumbe ngithi nkosikazi zakubeka njalo be?
Nkosikazi.
Ye kunjani khona lapha echolotsho?
Echolotsho kunzimanyana mbijani.
Kuthiwani kwenzakalani?
Ama-party zindina sezikhampenela ama-political parties ze-ruling parties
bakhampenela obani khonapho?
uJonathan Moyo.
So bakhampena besithini?
Ababekhotoza vele nalo wayengiformer MP nama-councillors njaye MDCT besithi phansi lawo.
So ukuxokozela wangikhona kunganani?
Ukuthi vele abantu sebesesaba kuyaxokozela sibili kakhulu nje.
Kodwa kulokutshana yini?
Ukwesaba?
Ukwesaba kume njani?
Uyabasaba abantu sebesesaba ngoba amazebhuku vele asebizela abantu ezinkundleni.
Ababiza ngobani?
Ngibasebhuku.
Bafika besithini khona ngale?
Babe beforce ukuthi betshaye islogani sezani.
Kodwa bayasitshaya?
Bayasitshaya, anti bayabe beforce kwangasintambi yabo.
Siyakhumbula kudala ke khonapha echolotsho kwakwenzakala kuZANU-PF lezaphu kodwa abantu bavota phela ngendlela yayingakhangelelwanga phela. Usakhumbula nje?
Labathi vele kuzaba yikho ngoba abantu bayenza into engasintsha njalo, bayenza vele ukuthi baye besehlaba bacabanga khona kwegugrawuni.
So bathini nxa ukhuluma labo uZulu khonapho uthini?
Vele abantu bayesaba umuntu nekumthole vele ukuthi ngaphi, bayesaba abantu ngoba bayesaba ukuthi vele njananti yabulala.
Kodwa wena ume ngaphi kona ngokuma kwakho ke?
Mina vele MDC.
So uzahamba usiyavota kodwa?
Hayi yangivota.
Sizwile ke inkokheli MDC yathi lihambe phela kodwa lifike lispoile ama-ballots. Awuzange ukuze khonokho?
Angahamba ngiyadinga kuphela kodwa vele yangivota.
Oh yebo phela. So ke ungathini kodwa ngakho konke khonokho kwenzakalayo?
Ngakutshela ngakutshela abaphathi kuphela ukuthi bona akumelanga bakwenze lokhu ngoba ukwenza into engasintsha yakho asisenze right.
Hayi siyakuzwa kakhulu mama khona ngapho ungadinwa kusasa.
Hayi lamboni wakho.
Blessing, we've got a woman who is in Cholocho. She's saying that, chiefs, headmen, and traditional leaders generally are actually forcing people to go to ZANU-PF rallies where they are being forced to actually, chant ZANU-PF slogans. And she says people are now fearing for their lives, because they remember the Kukuraundi issues. So they are saying, but even if you force people to do what they don't want, sometimes it can turn around and vote the other way. So she says that's possible. But she's not going to vote because she's in the MTCT. Says if she goes to the elections, to the polling station, she will only go and dip her hand in ink, and that is it.
Interesting. Regetiende kuna mkoma Pasmo vari muHarare. Makadi mkoma Pasmo?
Ndiripo munofarani.
Aiwa tiripo edu. Tipewo pfungwa dzenyu.
Inini mutaona zangu ni zvedhini akakanzi nizimaona redu panye maevheli pamende kada kusvika inaye tingi kuti mapati dzese ari kukombisa rakangati rakangotidzira zvakaita MDC zvekuboycota pane kuisa upenyu hwevanhu vasingakwanisi kuzvidifenda pariski because vamwe vanhu vacho vanenge vachikuwadza uye vachirowa vanhu vekutoti upenyu hutowanika zvekuti even kana $1 yekutenga mapii anenge asina maona saka ndopandoti waifanira ngoingo wakangobatana chinhu chimwe chitotongosiyana nazvo zvinalisi kusvika mibato yovane kuti vanhu vakachengetedzeka zvaitina vanhu vacho vanenge vachiva vanhu havatombomire reason vasingamiri kuti havasungwa saka munhu akasasungwa anotongofungidzira kuti hapana chekutya even mangwana kana rina anotongoita defense ikunzi pane vanenge vambobatwa vombovharirwa vachinzirwa mitongo vanenge vapuhwa nevamwe vanenge vachida kuzvika vanotya mavanhu but raitinavo hapana zvakadaro zvinoitika totongodza kuti kwakati kuchitungisa like inoziviwa nemp akabva kukuwadza MDC hapana wanombodza kuti asungwa saka musidza kuti vanhu ivavo mangwana angatadza kuzviita vanotongoramba vachizviita because hapana zvavanoita.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Pasmo.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Of course, what Pasmo is saying is that all the political parties, the opposition political parties, should have heeded the call by the MDC to boycott the elections because, people are being beaten and members of the Zimbabwe Republic Police are not taking any action.
Mr. Mkandla, I think you heard the last caller. He's saying that why didn't you boycott the elections?
Well, this is quite funny, actually, because in the first place, we should not have had elections before 2018 in these seats, which were just won by MTCT. But they took a precipitate action just because of internal problems with Tendai BT and Mangoma's group, who went renewal. Now, we have a funny scenario where the party that expelled what they regard as rebels decided not to field other people to replace the rebels. And secondly, those who were kicked out as rebels, who in fact had won the elections on the MDCT ticket also decided not to contest. So it amounted basically to giving up the space to ZANU-PF if there was no other party contesting. And we decided we were not going to leave that space open because, first of all, we didn't think that they should reduce the numbers of people from the opposition in Parliament. And secondly, in those areas where the constituencies actually voted for the opposition, it is not quite fair for the vote to be wasted so that now ZANU-PF takes the seats by default. And then, of course, finally, we as a party, we did not even understand the logic behind the, first of all, the sackings and also the boycott. And nobody told us the reasoning, and apart from the fact that the reasoning is very flawed. Like, for example, that we need to have the electoral reforms implemented and the other reforms that are in the new constitution. Now, we think that this is flawed because, first of all, even before this constitution, the MDCT had the majority in Parliament under the old constitution. Now that there's this constitution with its fewer flaws, it makes less sense to refuse to contest because of the non-implementation of the reforms and having reduced the capacity to fight for those reforms in Parliament by not standing. So it's a real conundrum, and we decided that this is not something that we would want to support. And but to cap it all, they then told their people that they should spoil the ballots in some areas. And I think that is disenfranchising a lot of Zimbabweans who would not want to see ZANU-PF in their areas. And so that's quite an issue in Bulawayo because the people have consistently voted against the ruling party over the last.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkandla. Can you stay on the line? Silomunye ubaba lapho secingweni. Mnumzana Brighton Nyathi, kunjani baba?
Hayi nyaphila njani baba?
Siphilile Nyathi, ukuphi lapho mhloli?
Hayi ngiselwakho lo mission kuba
kunjani lokho lapho?
Asikanyengiseka baba.
Akutsho phela kuhamba njani khonapho?
Ngibona umkhuhlane otholakala elizweni lethu leZimbabwe and kuyakhuba kakhulu hayi. Indaba leyenzakala kuma-by-elections esiya kuyo akayimanga kahle iyadondisa. So ngathi ngakubeka ngithi so ngithi amaZimbabwe wonke engabahlanganisa ukukhuluma ngomnumzana uThangirai okokuthi bonke bekele bevota ngokuthi kuyavanga ukudlala ngesikhathi ukuthi indlovu ngeliba ngiyabona.
Uvala kancane radio yakho ungazani isenzela umsindo bijana.
Okay.
Vala kancane.
Sengibona sekuzwakala.
Qhubeka baba.
Njalo.
Qhubeka baba.
Ngithi ingqondo zaba uThangirai mbona zingasiza iZimbabwe kakhulu ngokuthi khangelani izilonda ezikhona ingalelo kuningi kakhulu ukukhulunywa ezikaphukezi lampokho and kuyakhuba kuningi zisemiglense ngapha abazali bethu babhubha ngendlela zona lezo ezenzakalayo ziyakhuba kakhulu ruling party kayiphathi kahle eZimbabwe. So ingabe ukuthi obaba bakhulule ngabophikezi lampokho behlangane le-cabinet yonke benze into one engasiphilisa thina abantwana beZimbabwe ngokuthi lapho esiya khona vele kasikwazi lapho esivela khona siyakwazi vele emadakeni ngokuthi lakhangela ukuthi salisa sikhiphe isimithi eZimbabwe siphethe isinkwa sesikhululekile abantwana beZimbabwe khathesi sina ngokuthi khe sesibandezelana so kathi amavoti elezisiwazi ka-by-elections ehurunge ngale ziyabheka kumanga kahle ethembamlisa ngale bahlukuluzwa abathitsha ephathini nendaba zeqiniso kumbe liqiniso bazoqiniso kodwa baphike bahlukuluzwa endawo eziningi lithi ngapha hayi unganeni kungcono kodwa babamba ngapha bakwanisa khona kodwa hayi sisaphilile kahle
kule by-election kulapho
lapha kula by-election kuzimele kukahle hayi kula problem siza kwabanye sibazolisiza ihlobo nabangane abasemaphandleni athini nakithi nga
so ungatshelana uZulu weZimbabwe
uZulu weZimbabwe into engayikhuthaza kuZulu wakithi eZimbabwe ukubambana senza into enhle sibe nepeace nokuphila impilo efanayo sicabange njengoba sithiwa sifundile ukufunda ukuthi kusize kuthina singaphoqani nami mangidliwe mangiwinile akhona ukuthi ngidinge ukuthi ngithandwe ngokuphoxa abantu kumbe ngokuhlukuluza abantu namasabhuku nezinkosi nezinduna konke hashi lokho akusinike ubuntu eZimbabwe ngoba amanye amazwe sifuna ukusinika usizo angeke asinike sasemadakeni insuku zonke.
Uboneke Nyathi sibongile kakhulu khona ngapho elwagweru ungathina kusasa baba.
Hayi ngiyabonga baba Dube hlale isifoni lesindaba ezimnandi kakhulu
Yes alifonela kakhulu khona ngapho baba. Thank you.
Kukahle.
Yeah, so according to Mr. Nyathi, you know, people should boycott these elections, like what Mr. Tsvangirai is saying. He's saying that the electoral field is not level at all. And now he touched on something most probably important too. He says there's no freedom that people of Zimbabwe have tasted. So what freedom can they talk about today if they cannot vote? You still remember the one person, one vote kind of thing.
Yes,
that slogan.
One man, one
vote. He says you cannot get it now. So sizwe ke Silo Mnumzana uzibusiso kule South Africa khona manje baba zibusiso kunjani? Uyangizwa zibusiso khona ngapha lapho khona? Uyangizwa baba?
Ngiyakuzwa tu.
Utshona njani khona?
Hayi ngiyaphila mina.
Wena ungathini ngakho lokho kwenzakala eZimbabwe?
Hayi mina nje into vele bengikhala ngayo kakhulu Dube ngake ngafona futhi ngakhuluma ukuthi laba abantu abotswangira bahambe bayovota nje noma kunjalo ngoba ngaze bethi baboycott nje akushintshe lutho kuzohlala kunjengoba so kungcono nje ukuthi bahambe bayovota njenga uba umkandla manje kubekile wacaca ukuthi abantu ababhalisayo ukuvota abahambe bayovota noma bezovotela enye iparty nje as long izo-oppose izalo ngoba manje bengaze benze ama-spoiled papers kuze bekuhlomula izanu-PF kakhulu bese siya ngapha eUrungwe ngapha abalwa khona lo baba angithi vele ubekuzani bayamazi kungakho kulodlamo olunje vele angilwisa ngoba bemazi ngiyakhumbula esinye isikhathi uRugare Gumbu exabana nomfowabo bebangalezi izinto yizo izinto lokhu zibuya zisiba njengoba obabuthangirayi abangezi njengokuthi bona baboycott kungela uboycott wabo kungcono mabe ngathi siyaboycott kube nesizathu sokuthi boycott kuphume imphumela enje manje uboycott kunela nto ezo abazobenefita kiyo since kuyalimaza futhi abantu ngoba manje izanu manje angithi yabona indaba za electoral commission leza angithi manje ayikakalungiswa yonke leya into still kodwa kusase njengoba siyahamba siyovota kuphela kunjalo so mina into bengayicelisa ukuthi abantu abalaleleyo manje behambe beyovota bengenza ama-spoiled paper abavotele noma izapho bebe against izalo ngoba izapha ngithi yiyona eqhubekayo so ngoba bengaspoila amaphepha still izanu-PF iyabenefit iyathola amavoti bese bengena ezihlalweni futhi bebewanenge ephalamende bezenzela imithetho abafuna ukuzenzela yona abana-challenge.
Hayi siyakuzwa kakhulu-ke Mnumzana Sibusiso sibongile kakhulu baba ube le mpelaviki enhle ba.
Kakhulu uhluphe nje ifoni yenu mina yangikhawada ayingeni le foni le.
uWhatsApp yethu wayithola ulayo?
Ngike wafunda imessage yami eyi-1 lesibili inye alifunda ngebo.
Hayi no siza kuzama ukuthi sibe sikufonela baba.
Kulungile tu.
Yes siyabonga kakhulu. So Mr. Sibusiso is saying, you know, boycotting won't pay anything, you know. It's like you are letting ZANU to be in charge forever, you know. So he says go and vote and most probably vote for Zapo. He is not Zapo, by the way, according to him.
Okay, I think Mr. Tinava Dliwayo Rampai Zwenyi Makabata Parunari, Mr. Mkandla and Mr. Mavinga, please do stay on the line. For our radio listeners, we are streaming live, so please go to www.voazimbabwe.com and press on LiveTalk. This is Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Gibbs Dube saying stay tuned to Zimbabwe.
For those of you who are just joining us, good evening, and this is Studio 7 Live Talk. And we hope you are having a good Friday. And of course, tonight on Studio 7 Live Talk, we are talking about electoral violence in some constituencies where there are by-elections, particularly Urungwe West. Gibbs.
And our guests tonight are Mr. Strike Mkandla, who is the ZAPU spokesman, and Mr. Tioma Vinga, a human rights lawyer. If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. And for those that are using WhatsApp, our number is 1-202-465-0318. Can you send us a message right now? Yeah, abafuna ukuthi bangena kuhlelo khona manje nasi nombolo. Lisifonele kanye cellphone lakho ngapho 001-202-619-2077. Bonani lo muntu khona mfowethu.
Regaiti yende kuna mkoma Joseph Liwayo. Makadi vadliwayo.
Makadi ndi vajonga ere.
Ndi vaZulu.
Makadi vaZulu nebasa.
Aiwa isu tiri nani muri sei zvenyu?
Isuti nane zvedu tinofara nechirongwa ichi chamunogara muchitipawo chokwadi.
Aiwa zvinodakadza kana muchifarawo.
Chaizvo.
Nyaya iri mudariro maizwa tiri kubhuya nyaya yemhirizhonga.
Nyaya iri pano baba vaZulu inyaya yekuti isu tinoremekedza mabasa enyu nokuti ndio kwatinowana news dzechokwadi. Saka tine dzimwe mitauro yatinotaura isingazoiti kuti titaure pamhepo sezvizvi.
Aiwa izvo tinenge tisingazvikurudziri hedu vadliwayo nekuti panenge paine vana vakateerera nevamwe tenge tisingadi kuti tizoguma tamarana ndosaka tichikurudzira kuti tinge tichinyatsotaura hedu tisinganyombane.
Ndizvozvo chaizvo. Tisingareveri zvangu pakunyombawo kana kutaura zita remunhu, asi ndaichingorevera hangu pamaitiro ari kuita ZANU-PF. Ndinodairira paUrungwe kwakuChinzikuru kuMarwana ikoku. Chiro chimwe chinonyanya kuita kuti ZANU-PF iite saizvo zvinonyatsa kuziva kuti haisina tsigiro zvachose, kunyange kuvanhu vayo haisina tsigiro. Saka kune vanhu vakasara vazhinji vamuri kuona vari kuinda vachinomaranzura vanhu vachitaurira masabhuku nemashe kuti tinoda kuti muzodai. Inyaya yokuti ivavo vacho vanosara vachizviita kubva panguva yese kare vanhu vachirohwa vanoziva kuti vane mhosva dzavainadzo dzinongoita kuti kana pakapinda mapato anoshanda nemutemo vanhu ivo vanobatwa nemhosva. Chechipiri ndechekuti mukatarisa iye zvinezvi zvakaita seZANU-PF yakatojairira kutorova vanhu nokuti inonyatsoziva kuti hapana zvainoitwa, hapana kana hwani anovadzorera. Asi ndaichimbonzwa tsume vakuru inoti kazhinji utsinye hunopedzwa neutsinye, nokuti payakaenda payabva kure ichitishungurudza. Izve zvinezvi tinofarira mapato atinofarira chaizvo seakaita vamwe vatisingachatauri zvedu nemazita, asi tinoziva kuti vanhu vakaita saivavo veZANU-PF vanenge vasingachadi kungonyararirwa kungotaura nemuromo, nokuti mukatarisa mapato eMDC akahwina kare. Zvinotozikanwa nani kuti pese pakaitwa masarudzo yaihwina, asi nenyaya yekuti vane umbimbi ndoga uye vanoziva kuti hatina zvatinoitwa. Saka kunyarara kwakaita MDC ichitoda kumira kupinda mune zvemasarudzo panguva ini, inofanirwa kuti yodzoka idzoke nematanho akasimba anoitawo kuti nesu tinenge tichizoda kutsigirawo tinge takasimba tichiziva kuti haungazofananidzi kuti munhu une rekeni neane chikava angarohwa ndiani. Uyo ane chikava anokanda rekeni ari kure, ane chikava anoda kumirira kuti asvike padhuze. Saka apa panenge pachida rekeni to rekeni.
Aiwa, hanzi chinozonetsa manje vadliwayo, hanzi an eye for an eye makes the world blind. Ukati ndobvisa ziso vanhu vese vanosara vava mapofu. Ndosaka pachikurudzirwa kuti munokwanisa kunovhota muri nyararo.
Ndiri mudiki asi handisiri mudiki wakanyanya kuita mudiki zvichienderana nepanguva yaitwa zvehondo iyayi.
unoona kuti zvinoita UPS ZANU-PF kugarira vanhu murodhi zviyangukaisa rudzi vachiisa marodhi buroko inyaya yekuti vanonyatsa kuziva kuti hakuna imwe enemy iri kutiteerera kumashure ine chinokuvadza bhozi kana paine vamwe vanokuteerera nechinokuvadza hapana anomira parodhi pachena sezvavanoita zviya mayuti aya ma90 vanoti takara kuti iri mahovheti akaberekwa 1990
asi nhai vadliwayo pakati uyo abata gano uyo abata pfumo pane chingabuda here pa
panotowanika umwe anoti ngatichiregai ndatisingazivi kuti zvakaipa
anyway tinotenda zvikuru
kutaura chokwadi chaiko ka chero mukaenda titori nehama dziri kutosenza kuanhu vamwe vazhinji unotozwa vachitotaura kuti isisi hatina zvatingagona kuita because tiri mumaoko ehurumende asi opposition party ikatora matanha iwayo tiri musaidhi mayo
haiwa haiso hatikurudzirei izvozvo vadliwayo hondo yakapera kudhara iko zvino
mawedzi andakutaura so ndinoremekedza chirongwa chinechi because munotipa zvirongwa zvinonakidza saka ndinosigara hangu ndichirwa muchiti hatikurudziri izvezvo asi ndinongotaurawo ini just ini papisi papa chidimbu chidiki kuti ZANU-PF chinokonzera kuti vanhu haina munhu unovadzorera vakaita munhu unovadzorera uripo ndiwoto nevanozvitopa zvese izvozvo
aiwa tinotenda zvikuru vadliwayo nekupinda muchirongwa chedu
tinotenda
regaiti vamavhinga
baba ndiri pano
manzwa zvataurwa navadliwayo izvi kuti nyaya iri kuita kuti muite mhirishonga inyaya yekuti ZANU-PF hapana nokukwidzana naye panyaya yezvibhakera
pane chokwadi chiripo chekuti ndingati inini mune mamwe mashoko manyemwe anenge achiitwa neZANU-PF kufarisa chaiko kwekuti vanoti mapurisa ndeedu ndinorangarira ini pane imwe mhirishonga yakamboiswa kuApril vanhu vezanu vanga vachirova vanhu iko vachitaura kuti isi tiri vana vezanu hatisungu hatitare muchitokisi saka manyemwe anoitwa nevanhu vanoona kuti hurumende iri mumaoko mavo vanoita zvavanoda nayo dei kuri kuno tine mapurisa chaiwo emutemo anomira anotaura kuti uri wezanu chero uri wendonga chero uri wei unosunga kana waita mhosva vaizviregedza zvese izvi chiri dambudziko riripo hakuna mutemo munoona kuti vachombo pavanonzi vaitaura kunzi vanhu ngavadi ngavateeresa bhuku vanhu ngavadi mapurisa anenge aripo akatarisa hapana chavanoita mapurisa haasungi vanhu vanoti kana zvinhu zvezanu hatipindi mazviri nekuti zvinonzi mapolitical issues ndo dambudziko iroro rekuti vanenge vachifanira kuti vaite zvemutemo hapana zvavari kuita vakatopeta maoko avo zvachose masojawo anenge achinzi masoja avanhu vedu vanga vafambe nesu muchaona kuti kwachirumadzi kuzimbabwe uko vamunangagwa vakati vachiwenga ndipolitical commissar wemusangano zvinoreve chii izvozvo kana munhu mukuru wemasoja achinzi ndipolitical commissar wemusangano weZANU-PF ndo dambudziko guru dambudziko harisi rekuti hanzi mapato akasiyana anomutirana kwete dambudziko nderekuti vezvemutemo vari kupinzwa mukati umu vachipinda sechipenga cheZANU-PF kana izvozvo zvikakwanisa kuti zvipere ndosaka tiri kuti isusu mhirizhonga yemuzimbabwe hainesi kupedza inongoda kuti kumusoro kumapurisa kuiswe vanhu kwavo vakatwasuka vanotya mutemo vanotevedza mutemo vasingaiti zvepolitics zvokuti mukati mehembe dzake dzekubasa munenge mune skipa yemusangano weZANU-PF ndo dambudziko ratinaro iroro.
You heard what Mr. Mavika said there loud and clear, that there's a breakdown of the rule of law, and he's saying members of the police are not doing their job, and as a result, this is why there's a lot of violence. Tinemwe mtereri, mkoma Arthur Makadi.
Tangu baba Makadi.
Aiwa tiripo, tipewo pfungwa dzenyu.
Isu tanga tichida rubetsero wedu kuno kutatambura tiri South Africa takavharirwa mumajere ndofunga tine ma2 months tiri mumajere takavharirwa apa tiri kutorerwa mari tiri kurobwa tiri kushungurudziwa tiri mumajere takukwanisa 2 months tiri mumajere takavharirwa tatambura wedu tokumbira rubatsiro.
Saka makwanisa kufona sei muri mujeri mukoma Arthur munokwanisa kushandiswa foni here kana kuti tinofamba sei?
Ndatopiwa foni nevhizita ndandakateerera chirongwa ndibva saka pandavingwa nevhizita ndazoya ndikapiwa foni ndosaka ndatry kuti ndibate pachirongwa time mamuchitaura pachirongwa ndandiripo ndakateerera.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru. Saka makamboedza here kuenda kumasangano akaita sana Zimbabwe Exodus Forum?
hatina tiri kushungurudziwa tiri mumajere zvekuti hatina chatiri kukwanisa kuti tikwanise kuwana rubatsiro kana kuita sei, because takamboendisiwa kunonzi kulindela tikanosvika tikadzosiwa tikatorerwa mari dzedu tikaita sei. Saka ndofunge zvino takakwanisa almost 2 months takavharirwa.
Muri kujeri ripi?
muAlberton.
Alberton. Aiwa, vamavhinga varipo ava ndo basa ravo, saka tichavakumbira kuti vauye kuzokuona ikoko.
Vanokwanisa kuuya rini baba?
Vamavhinga?
Regai tode Alberton jeri ripi rachona ndotuma nekuti kozvo ndiri kulandana, asi jeri ripi tikuona zvatingaite.
Iri under Joburg.
Zvakanaka, tichaona zvatinoita tinokutsvagai.
Okay baba, tokumbira kuti wane rubatsiro, tatambura vedu takawanda tiri mwende tiri 60 tiri mujere momwende tiri kushungurudziwa tutorerwa mari dzedu apa hatisi kudya tiri kurarama nechingwa ndo chatongoya tongopiwa chingwa kuda tine 2 months tichidya chingwa chete.
Saka munonzi mukoma Arthur kuti kana vauya kuzobatsira vaone
Matiwa.
Okay, aiwa tinotenda zvikuru vaMatiwa. Tichataura navamavhinga kuti vauye kuzokubatsirai nevamwe vanokwanisa kuya kuzokubatsirai.
Alright, aizveshuwa tinokumbira rubatsiro, tiri kushungurudziwa, mhuri dzedu dzakasara kunze tiri mukati takavharwa almost 2 months tatambura.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru. Saka tinokwanisa kufona panhamba iyi handiti?
Kana ndisina kuitorerwa pamwe ndinayo, but sometimes ndogona kuzoitorerwa kana vakauya kuzosecha.
Aiwa tinenge tichiona kuti ndiani anenge ainayo tozokufonirai, asi tinotenda zvikuru.
But munokwanisa kuzotibatsirawo zvarini baba?
Tinenge takufonirai nekuti chirongwa chinochita hatisingatauri hedu izvozvo. Saka kana tapedza chirongwa tinokufonirai totaura nevanhu vacho. Handisi tinokubatsirai ba, tinotsvaga vanhu vanoita basa iroro. Ivo vana mavhinga ava ndo vekodzero dzevanhu nevamwe veZimbabwe Exodus Forum ndo vanozoona kuti voita sei. Saka hatingadi kukuvimbisai zvatisingakwanise kuita.
Alright, because ivo vanga vachititaura vachiti kwanzi pamwe Tuesday kana kuti Monday tinokwanisa kuenda kulimbera. Saka tatizama kukumbira tikazama kuvapa chemo vanotishungurudza vobva vava kuti vakuita sei.
Aiwa, no problem, tichakufonirai tokurukura.
Alright.
Tinotenda zvikuru.
That's very sad, right?
That's a very sad story there about the Zimbabweans detained in South Africa is saying they've been detained for 2 months. They are being harassed, there are no food. You know,
Also
try to call him. Yeah, Gibbs.
Yeah, Baba Mkandla, uconnect one. Yeah, uzwile lapha kulabanye abakhulumayo Baba Mkandla ukuthi lingene kukhetho lolu kungazani nje lingene wenze ukuthi liponga ukugijigijima phakathi kodwa enxe kuzahlupha. Kambe ubona zani lizaphuma njani kukhetho lolu?
Bathe kuzahlupha kuyini?
Ukuthi enxe alisoze lithole kangawa amavoti.
Kathi kulo muntu ongenayo emavotini ekwazi ukuthi uzathola amavoti angakanani. Amavoti ankinga abanikazi abavotayo. So kuza kutsho abantu abavotayo ukuthi siyangena kumbe singena. Kula muntu ongahlathi yena sizozi kulunge. Otherwise ngabe kunjalo kusaziwa ukuthi umuntu uzazuza mbasozazuze. Bona abasebazuzayo bazongasoze bangena ngoba bengakakwazi ukuthi bazazuza. Bazuza sebonile abantu sebabavote. So ukuthi umuntu ungazuza amavoti mana uzuze leqiniso ukuthi uzawazuza uyazengadinga ukuvota lo uyafuna ukwazi ukuthi ufuna ukuprofit kafuna ivoti ayisekuprofit ukubona ngamavoti abantu la okunye kade ufuna ukutsho mnumzana ukuthi kulamabandla athona kumele kuqale kulungise zonke izinto okumele zingene esisisekelweni sombuso. Bathi ama-constitutional reforms onke kawafakwe njengokuvunyelwana kwawo ngesivumelwano esangenelwa i-global political agreement yama-parties lana ekuhulumende. Now lokhuyana thina sithi njengezapho ama-reforms abe khona kakutshintshwe izinqumo njengoba kwenzakala ukuthi i-constitution yathi kumele kube le-changes ezithize ku-information, ku-human rights, and so ku-voting arrangements and so ziningi izinto ikakhulu ekuvoteni ngoba i-constitution entsha ithi yona iZimbabwe Electoral Commission yiyo okumele ikhangele ukurejista kwabantu nxa abantu besiyabhalisa ukuthi bafuna ukuba ngama-voters. Njalo iZimbabwe Electoral Commission yiyo kumele igcine izingwalo ezabantu bonke abavota utini i-voters roll and ziningi izinto ezinjengalezo kuyamele zenziwe izapho yikho yaya ecourt mhla 27 April ukuthi icourt ifake amandla omthetho ukuthi i-executive ayizokumele ikwenze icourt yahlala mhla 27 April ayizange ke ifake isinqumo in other words ya-reserve i-judgment kutsho njalo ngesikhiwa now konke lokho kumele kwenziwe ama-parties akhona abo-opposition ukuthi alwele ukuthi izinto ezavunywayo zenziwe but akutsho ukuthi kumele kume ukuvota kuze kulungiswe lezo zinto yikho lapho esehlukane khona ngiyabona ngoba abanye sebemele ukuthi kuze kuqale kulunge konke kodwa abazange bame bangena bayavota baze bangena eparliament yikho beseparliament khathesi kodwa sebesithi okunye lokho kakume futhi kuze kulungiswe izinto ngibona ngathi lapho kube liphutha sibili ukuthi bamise ukungena eparliament bevele belabantu eparliament besiyekela abanye besetha out bevele bekhona
siyakuzwa kakhulu baba Mkandla sibongile ubambe khona lapho ngayikatshana. So according to Mr. Mkandla, they are going into this election to look for some kind of win, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, ZAPU is fighting for constitutional changes. So he says, of course, they are fighting for that, but people should not boycott these elections. So you cannot say, call for the constitutional reforms while you are out of the system. So he says it doesn't work that way. Yes, siphinde njalo silomnumzana uOpet Moyo oseGoli. Baba Moyo ngawunjani?
Ngiyaphila baba linjani leni?
Usiphilile Moyo, ungaphi kwankona khona?
Randburg.
Kuthina Randburg?
Hayi Randburg kulomoyanyana nje.
Yebo phela ungathini ngodaba lesikhuluma ngalo?
Mina ngiphila abamaphathi aphikisayo ngabe kaya la ukungena ekhethweni. Okwenzela ukuthi izani ingabi lamandla kakhulu eParliament lapha. Ngoba mabe bebalekele emuva banikeza izalo amandla ukuthi vele into zonke asozilungi. Kade ukungena kwabo mabe ngenile bathola khona okuncane abakutholileyo kuyancedisa ukuthi izalo ingabile lamandla amakhulu kakhulu.
So kodwa
ngabe bona bangena.
Kodwa ke pho ngabangena awubonti babe yagcina bekhuluma khona kwabakutshoyo ukuthi bazangcola izandla zabo nxa bangavoxa udaka phela abantu abadala bathi ukuthi elodaka inathini.
Yebo. Kodwa ke ukubaleka kwabo akusoze kuncede ngoba khona okubakutholayo kuqaleni babe ngakwadi baza kuthola. So ngoba khona kwabakuzuzayo mhlambe lokho kusengezeleka ukuthi la nxa namhlanje bengahambi masithana lana abasusa eParliament mayise siyakuzano kuyini abazabe bekuyenze vele. Yabe kungasela ncedo abangabe belithole futhi.
Kodwa nxa sesikhangela ke ama-by elections wona lawo ubona ngazani kuya ngaphi sizokwenza indawo kuthiwa ke kulokudlakela oluthize kambe lwenziwa kuyini udlakela lo?
Izano vele ukuphila kwayo kwedlakela. Ngiyakhumbula ngama-election ka-85 ngase-Harare mina upresident wathi khona hayi abantu bengahluphani ngoba sebewinile kodwa ntambama wabuya wathi khona izigutswana zisasele. So vele izalo vele iyaziwa ngodlakela.
So kodwa kaze kuthini phela?
Mhlawumbe ukhule ngafa kulapho ingekuzaba lobungcono khona.
Ye kodwa singeke safisa njalo phela baba.
Phela ingcele uma kufika leso sikhathi ingcele abakhona kade singebaza lomqondo omutsha.
Hayi siyakuzwa mfaka moyo. Ye phosela ukucina baba.
Hayi mina ngithi kona abantu singabuyele emuva. Asiqhubeke lokwesifostelo kuyaphambili kwenza ukuthi ngelilanga sizazuza ukukhulu kulakho lokwesilakho.
Emoyo sibonga kakhulu emoyo baba. Yes, so according to Mr. Opet Moyo, the opposition parties that are boycotting the by-elections should not have gone that way. So he says if you boycott the by-elections, you are giving ZANU-PF a leeway to actually be in power for a very, very long time. So he says as per the violence that is reported in some parts of the country, he claims that ZANU-PF is naturally violent. But we know that ZANU-PF is not here to defend itself, right? That's his claim.
Mr. Mavinga, it appears when it comes to strategy, there is none for the opposition parties some are boycotting, others are participating in the elections. What should be done to make sure that there are electoral reforms? Because it also appears that the ruling party, ZANU-PF, is not really bothered by these calls for reforms. What should be done?
Well, I think what the opposition parties ought to realize in Zimbabwe is that strategies are only good to the extent that they are politically significant in terms of pressure. So, for example, if it is a boycott, alone and in and of itself, it is not enough. Because what ZANU-PF needs to do is to feel the pressure. You know, when President Mugabe and ZANU-PF in 2008 said, let us negotiate a GNU, it was because of significant pressure. So the MDC and others must create pressure, must push enough to make sure that ZANU-PF realizes it has to negotiate and it has to come to the table, kicking and screaming. So as far as I'm concerned, a boycott is insufficient in terms of pressure. There is need to do more, which might actually mean radical steps, which might be sacrifices, which might mean a wholesale withdrawal from parliament. If it would be enough to make that kind of pressure. What the MDC must focus on is, are we making a statement that is pressure? Or is it a lame statement? Is it lukewarm? Or will it be ignored by ZANU-PF? At the moment, because other political parties are participating in elections, a boycott becomes insignificant. If it is not accompanied by several other strategies to apply pressure on ZANU-PF.
Thank you so much. Maybe same question to Mr. Mkandla.
Yes. Maybe you can pause it. Yeah.
Mr. Mkandla, do you have a strategy as the opposition?
Well, it's quite a funny question, actually, because the first thing about strategy is to, I think the last speaker said something about pressure. Pressure is in all forms. You have to follow the legal avenues. For example, try and ensure that the courts, hoping that there's enough room after the reforms, that the courts can be slowly asserting their independence and therefore passing judgments that can go even against the ruling party. That will be the legal roots of pressure. Then you have the parliamentary strength of the opposition. I'm not persuaded that you need to reduce the parliamentary strength of the opposition just as a kind of pressure. Again, like the last speaker said, unless you're going to pull out completely from parliament and then follow that up with very, very strong non-parliamentary approaches to application of pressure, more or less going to before 1999. And I think that now the opposition is losing the plot in the sense that all the ground gained since 1999 to try and remove the one-party state that was evolving would be depleted. And then we shall be back to doing against a very powerful ruling party, which is legitimacy because nobody opposed it and showed that they can actually defeat it in election. They can legitimately say, yes, we won. Remember, the winning is not getting all the votes. It means getting the majority of those who voted. And I think that the lesson of the last 30, 40 years is that basically you use your vote when you get it and try to build on your strength. That is why there's intimidation against voters, because the ruling party understands that if you don't apply violence in some areas, you are going to get more and more significant opinion against you, given the hardships, the mismanagement, the corruption, and a whole load of things that are going wrong. And therefore, they are afraid of the vote. And if you give them that vote to go unchallenged, then you're giving them a little more legitimacy, in fact, for mismanagement and the absence of the rule of law. Short of non-legal routes, very little that can be done unless you engage in parliamentary campaigns and showing that you have the majority on your side. And I'm yet to be convinced that there's other ways of showing that you have support right now, unless you go into the streets and have strikes and so on. And I think that there is fatigue. In some areas, the industries are not even there to strike from because they've been destroyed. So I think that we shall find that even traditional bases of support like the trade unions aren't available anymore because we're going to be a nation of vendors with all the industry has been destroyed. So I think that we really need to make a serious rethink in terms of what are the tools at our disposal for effecting change.
Thank you.
The electoral system is one of the most important right now.
Thank you so much. Regai titori mumutereri mukoma Dennis makadini.
Uku yes vana ngoma jonga.
Ndimukoma Blessing na mukoma Gibbs. Zviri kudi.
Aiwa ndizvozvo. Tinoda kutaura nenyaya yemhirizhonga iri kuitika panguva ino inotiyeuchidza mhirizhonga yakapfuura ya 2008. Munoziva kuti ZANU-PF win ma-elections their victories hinged on violence. Izvozvo zvinozikanwa pasi rese. Ikasadaro hapana chainowana. Zviri kuitika munzvimbo idzi dzine mhirizhonga kuMarsh West kuRungo ukoko. Ichokwadi chiri kuitika ichocho because ndatombofonerwa neumwe mudikani kubva ikoko achiti hakusina chakanaka kuno. Tiri tese?
Tiri kukunzwai, taurai zvenyu.
Okay. Yeah, ndisati ndaenda mberi kudzoka panyaya iyoyi ndandichikumbirawo kuti dai pakazova neimwe nguva yatingataure neflight yema-IDPs 2008 nevavo vakabuda kunze because varipo izvozvi vamwe vakabuda kunze vari kuyaura and ivhoti yakaenda iyoyo yakabuda munyika vasakwanise kuvhota kana muforthcoming election na2018 handizi kuti munoti kudini nyaya iyoyi. Right. Vamukanza ndikutenderana navo nezvakawanda zvavari kutaura. Asi takatarisa tinofanira kuziva kuti mhirizhonga idzi dzinorongwa. Kunotori nemastrategisi acho kuZANU-PF vanoronga mhirizhonga idzi. Apo paHQ pavo paRotenville apa. Saka ava vanoedza kupinda angave maby-elections yaya kana election ya2018 ichauya iyi. Vanhu vakawanda vane miono yakasiyana. Ndandichiona sekuti dai vanhu vazvidzikisira pasi vaedza kubatana vese veopposition vaedza kubatana neMDCT sezvo MDCT iriyo inocontrola majority kuopposition. Zvekare iwo amwe maopposition parties aya anonyatsoziva kuti kungotora machances zvavo vanoda kuedza handizivi chavari kuda kuedza kuita kuda kungoedza kuti ZANU-PF irambe iripo. Dai vaifunga zvakakwana vaibatana voti hatiendi kuelection tese nokuti ivo tuma minority opposition parties kuenda kwato kuma-elections zvinoreva kuti twakuilegitimiza this terrorist organization to form another government in 2018.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Dennis, though tisingadi hedu kuti bato rakavhoterwa nevanhu it's a terrorist organization, asi tinotenda of course briefly what he's saying is that all the parties must unite and forge an alliance to challenge ZANU-PF. Unfortunately, time is not our best ally, and we want to take this opportunity to thank our guests this evening, Mr. Strike Mkandla, ZAPU spokesperson, and human rights lawyer Dewa Mavinga. We also want to thank our listeners, our callers, those who send messages on Facebook and WhatsApp, and of course our viewers and our team behind the scenes, our engineers and producers. Signing off, this is yours truly, Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Gibbs Dube saying have a lovely weekend.